Of Wild View talking about the developments there in Uganda. So let's come back home. NASA presidential candidate Raila Odinga has today taken his campaign to perceived Jubilee strongholds of Kiambu, the county with the second highest number of registered voters at 1.1 million after Nairobi. Now his visit comes just a day after he received a delegation of leaders from Kiambu in Nairobi. And our Duncan Haemba has been on that campaign trail covering the same for us. Duncan, good to see you. How is it going?
Yes, Sophia, this is it. Perhaps what we can call the next big thing in the home stretch to the August 8th general election. And perhaps just to set the record straight, Kiambu is not a perceived Jubilee stronghold, but it is a Jubilee stronghold. So there are areas perhaps you can term as a perceived stronghold, but in Kiambu, definitely this is President Uhuru Kenyatta and by extension Jubilee Party's stronghold or the bedrock. And to be specific, it appears like now we've entered that phase where rival teams will now be taking political wars to the doorsteps of their main rivals and it appears like NASA has been the first one to take a bull by its horn. Raila Odinga setting foot in this county of Kiambu, home to President Uhuru Kenyatta. In the morning at around midday, we were in Limuru town. That was his first stopover, and he's accompanied by, among others, a former member of parliament for Subukia, Koigi Wamwere, who served as an assistant minister under the NAC administration. We also do have Mombi Ngaru, a member for Iyala, that I think she's still serving in Iyala, who's been a Raila diehard for long. And then we also have Musalia Mudavadi and Esther Passaris. Those were the four leaders that we witnessed on the Raila Odinga campaign in Limuru town. From Limuru, they've headed to Wangige, then Gitaru. This Kiambu town will be their fourth stop. According to their initial itinerary, NASA was supposed to visit 8 areas, but given the time and from the look of things, most probably after Kiambu, their last stop could be Ruiru town, because from Kiambu they were supposed to head to Ruiru town, Juja, and then the Juja flyover before eventually concluding their last stop at Githurai 45 roundabout. What are the issues that Raila Odinga is putting across? One, he sought to explain himself to the Kikuyu community or the Kikuyu nation that he is not an enemy to the Kikuyu nation, he's not an enemy to President Uhuru Kenyatta. That is one aspect that Raila Odinga has sought to explain. In return, he's asked them not to continue calling him a madman or Mogoroki. That is the word that has been used by the president on several occasions, referring to him as Mogoroki. So Raila Odinga, using those words, he's actually told the Limuru residents that he's not a Mogoroki, but a man who means well. And he's trying to tell the Kiambu residents that if the opposition can pinpoint that the cost of living is high, that there are issues that need to be fixed in terms of security, that the country's development has to be undertaken in a cost that is affordable, that is not being negative or undermining the presidency, but is basically saying that those are some of the aspects that the opposition has watched in the last 4 years, and that's why they are calling for a change of guard. When you look at that tone, it is sort of tactical. So it's not the abrasive Raila Odinga that we see when he takes on Jubilee or President Uhuru Kenyatta, but it's for obvious reasons. He's in the president's territory, so they have to tread carefully politically. Even Musalia Mudavadi at some point he has said they have no problem with President Uhuru as an individual. They have the problem with Jubilee leadership in entirety, and it's not an aspect of trying to sabotage or undermine the Jubilee leadership. So those are some of the issues. We had to take a shortcut to come to Kiambu for their fourth stop, but we understand they've concluded their rally at Gitaru, they are in Wangige before coming here in Kiambu town. Sophia, if you can hear me.
All right. So you've told us what it is the candidates are saying on the campaign trail. How is the reception like? How are the residents in Kiambu County receiving them? What are they saying? Of course, he's trying to clarify and correct these misconceptions he says the residents there have about him. How are they taking this news?
Sophia, Raila Odinga is a seasoned politician. He knows how to move with crowds, and particularly in this part of the country, he's never had a problem as such. You'll remember or you'll recall during the burial of former Nyeri Governor Nderito Gachagua, the kind of warm welcome he received even when he addressed the mourners. The same case when he decided to attend this year's Madaraka Day celebrations in Nyeri town, it was more or less the same. So in terms of the kind of reception, it was very warm. No, he was not jeered at all. And when he entered, of course, with his trademark fly whisk, trying to throw it left, right, and center, trying to address the residents in Kikuyu language, and of course pulling his trademark aya call and all that. That is what was sort of moving the crowds. And then something very important, he sort of tried to tell them that the issue of THRC, he mentioned the Larry massacre, that he said if NASA takes charge, those are some of the issues that NASA government will be addressing. And then he's talked about the cost of living and telling the Kiambu residents that if you cannot afford unga, the same people in Nyanza cannot, the same people in Western cannot, and therefore this is a national crisis. And when we talk about these issues, we mean good. And of course, you mention of unga, everybody will sort of applaud you, because it resonates with every Kenyan. So that is the tactic that perhaps has made him receive warm welcome, even when he left, even when Koigi Wamwere was addressing, Mombi Ngaru was addressing, Musalia was addressing. There was, I can say, very warm welcome. We expected some hostility, but that is not. In fact, some were even carrying placards telling him Njamba welcome, some calling him Baba welcome, and calling him Baba, and some even wanted him to do that soccer commentary of his. But I think, knowing too well that he was in somebody else's staff, he evaded that. But in terms of reception, it's good. So I can say so far Kiambu residents are receiving NASA leaders actually in a very warm way, so to speak. But we are waiting Kiambu. This is the seat of power for Kiambu County. This is actually the home area. Maybe I can talk to some of the residents here. Je, naweza kuzungumza nawe kidogo? Utuambie majina yako, simame hapa kidogo na uko moja kwa moja kwenye KTN. Jina lako ni nani pengine?
Jina langu ni Nicholas Lovai, mimi mkaaji wa Kiambu. Sisi tunamkaribisha Raila Odinga akuje kutoa issue zake za manifesto zake, akuje kuelezea wananchi wa Kiambu yale atawafanyia akiingia uongozi kwa government ya NASA.
Wewe sana ni nini unataka azungumzie? Ni sura gani unamtarajia akikuja agusie ndio usikie pengine utakuwa umeguzwa?
Raila Odinga inafaa kuja kuzungumzia kuunganisha wa Kenya, kitu ya kwanza kwa government ya NASA, kwa sababu msingi umekuwa wa ile serikali ambapo tuko nayo kwa sahi. Tunatembea tukisikiza maoni kwa wananchi, wanasema serikali ambayo tuko nayo kwa sahi ni ya ukabila, ambapo NASA inachukua watu wengi, imebeba Kenya mzima kwa jumla.
Chama cha Jubilee pia kina kabila nyingi na ina watu wengi on board, kila mtu kila kona. Mbona inasemekana ukabila uko Jubilee, ukabila uko NASA?
Tangu tuchukue uongozi kutoka kwa mzungu 1963, wananchi wanajua viongozi wao kutoka maeneo yao. Kama magharibi tunamwelewa Mudavadi, tunamwelewa Wetangula. Alafu ukiangalia kule Jubilee tunajua tuko na Ruto na Uhuru peke yake. Hawa wengine ni wadogo sana.
Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio hali ambayo inafanya inaonekana kama chama cha ukabila.
Sasa chama cha ukabila haionekani hivyo, ambapo tunasema sasa NASA inaonyesha mfumo mpya, imeunganisha watu wengi kabisa, kuungana na hiyo muungano. Kama jana tumeona watu kutoka eneo hii ya Kiambu na ngome ya Jubilee wakisema ya kwamba wanaingia NASA kwa sababu wanaona hapo ndio matunda yako kwa serikali ijayo ya Raila Omolo Odinga, kwa sababu muungano wa NASA unakuja kwa kishindo kutoa uchafu tangu 1963, ambapo wananchi wa Kenya wameumia, ambapo wanataka kupata sasa nafuu kupitia kwa chama cha NASA na
asante sana. Sophia, those are just some njoo watu wa Kiambu, njoo. Ni vile tunazungumza. Sophia, nimeambiwa niite watu wa Kiambu. Kwa hivyo kuna mwanadada wa Kiambu, utatuambia wewe mtu wa Kiambu unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Judy.
Judy, tuambie, wanasiasa wa NASA wanaingia, wametoka Limuru, wako Gitaru, Wangige wanakuja. Unataka wazungumzie nini wakiwa hapa?
Niko tu na swali moja kwao. Je, watakubali kushindwa? Kwaheri.
Well, mtu wa Kiambu amesema yeye ana swali moja tu kwa watu wa NASA. Je, watakubali kushindwa? So that is what we are getting, but I think, Sophia, we'll have to end it here in readiness for the NASA team that could be making their way here any moment from now. Sophia, if you can hear me, over to you.
Indeed I can, and many thanks Duncan Haemba for that comprehensive update for us live from Kiambu on the National Super Alliance campaign trail. So he'll continue to monitor the goings on there. But great to hear that it has been a warm welcome so far from that Jubilee stronghold for the NASA principal and other officials that are accompanying him today. So before we go on break here on Wildview, let's take you through the numbers in Kiambu County. And I'll turn right here to our super wall. And this is the population, 1,623,282 according to the 2009 census. The registered voters in 2013